Imam, not ritualists, but people who have the skills, who can move us ahead. That's our individual responsibility. The religious environment is given the idea, oh, it is the job of priests and the job of other men of religion, people of religion, to do this. It's our individual responsibility. So what the Qur'an is telling you and me, that if you and I do not administer our life by what Allah has revealed, then we are outright kafirs. Do not say that I told you that. I'm only repeating that to you as it is repeated to me. There's nothing stopping me from being a kafir. Putting on a cap, dressing like an Arab, growing a beard, reading all these rituals in our lives, taking on different roles in community. It's just a fallacy. And you can see how much of kufr we have in us when you look at us and look at our children and look at our company and look at our daily life and what we produce. You don't need me to tell you that, because people are very thin-skinned. I don't need you to tell me that if I'm very reflective on my life. Where is divine guidance in my life and your life? Is it center stage or is it backstage? Is it selective on certain days, on certain occasions, on certain months? Ramadan is just around the corner. I mean, very often I have people who call me at different times of the day, sometimes in the night, is this place open here for prayers? That's their main concern. Most of the people are concerned about prayers. They are not concerned about a divine attitude to life. Because that's the placebo they get. Because they feel somehow this is a cheap God, you can bribe this God. You can do 2 units or 4 units of standing, sitting, bowing, whatever you say, and you continue your life as usual, and this God is happy with you. Like yesterday, I was talking to a young man. He's a Muslim, quote unquote. And one of the most important things he told me is to be able to serve God. I said, what do you mean by that? He said that we can pray for Allah. I said, you pray for Allah? He says, yes. I mean, you tell me, which God needs you and needs me? What we fail to realize, we are in need. God is in no need. The Prophet is in no need. You can do nothing to that Prophet who died 1500 years ago. Don't think you can send blessings on him. But this is the kind of hashish that Muslims have been drinking for a long time in their life. It's the kind of opium that doesn't make any significant difference. So the Qur'an tells you and me, and we need to wake up, that if you do not learn divine guidance, and you do not understand it practically, and you do not use it to develop your life and your family life, and to go about society with divine loftiness, you and I or whoever, we fit in the category of kufr. And kufr is very, very dangerous. Because it leads to ingratitude. Kufr leads to ingratitude. And you can imagine what is ingratitude. The Qur'an tells us in chapter 17, verse 70, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. And we have placed human beings in such a poised position that they are blessed, they are honored, they are dignified. They have received countless bounties and gifts, and yet the average human being Muslims included, walk about this life as if they're poor people. Deal with us and you will understand that. Deal with us and you will understand that. The average human being is very, very poor in the way they deal with the gifts they receive in life. Because why? We are up front with mouth. There is nobody beating the Muslims to give lip service or mouth service. I mean, I wasn't able to satisfy you if I just give you mouth service. I would never accept those kind of services if I was your employer. All you give me is lip service. Where is the goods delivered? Show us the delivery. So, the Qur'an tells us that when we live in such a way that shows we are very poor, we are very tattered, we are very unfortunate, we are not people who have so much of wealth. You cannot realize the amount of wealth we have. We have a lot of wealth. But if I fail to see it and you fail to see it, or I don't want to see it and you don't want to see it, whatever you do will not make me see it, and whatever I say will not make you see it. And this is where you and I need to study. The Qur'an is a book that has to be studied. It's not something you're going to understand by not putting time and energy and wealth and attention to it. You're going to get what you've been getting all your life. A ritual explanation that doesn't really make sense, but doesn't take you anywhere. And you imagine those who are young when you become mothers and fathers or husbands and wives, and you don't make the effort to change what you have inherited from the parents, you will more than likely produce children like what was produced in society. So it is a big responsibility. Kufr is a cancer. And it is the cancer that in spite of having everything, we do nothing. In spite of having everything, we do nothing. But we are somehow waxing with pride that we are Muslims. And we make our children feel they are Muslims. And we have no weekly activity. We have no daily program. We have no weekly activity. We have no monthly activity. We don't have goals. We don't have responsibilities. So the Qur'an tells us, in the verse I recited to you, chapter 4, 136, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who are cultivating Iman. Iman is something that has to be grown, has to be sown, has to be grown, has to be cultivated, has to be cared. Nobody becomes a person with Iman by saying certain words. You don't become like that. It is something you and I got to want to be and to work hard to grow it in our lives. It's not something we can achieve easily. So the Qur'an says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O people who have expressed your commitment to cultivate Iman, aminu billah. What you got to do? You got to be very genuine and very sincere in your relationship with Allah. And how do we do that? By ensuring that we value Allah in our life, that we appreciate Allah in our life, that we secure Allah in our life, that we are in touch with Allah in our life, that we hold Allah as the most sacred and most important value. And that doesn't mean to go about saying Allah, Allah, or Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, or Astaghfirullah, or MashaAllah. It doesn't mean that. That's a cheap man's idea. That's what's all over the place. You can see somebody driving and he's doing his, what you call tasbih. You're talking to somebody and they're doing this tasbih. I mean, where you get the reference to this? Who says tasbih means to call God's name? But if you want to remain in in grade 1 in school, even though you